Hey everyone, it's Pastors Kurt and Katie, and we hope that you've had a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving holiday, full of gratitude and laughter and way too much turkey, let's be honest.
I mean, church, we are so grateful for you and how you have engaged with us as Restoration Church over this past year. I mean, truly, 2020 has been unlike anything that any of us could have expected or anticipated. But what has been so amazing is how even through all of the pivoting and adapting and reinventing that 2020 has required of us, our community has lived into our core values and remained committed to empowering all people to love and follow Jesus.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it's crazy to me, and it's really hard to believe that we relaunched as Restoration Church only in January of this year. I mean, it's nuts, but we have seen God do some pretty incredible things in that time. And for me, what stands out is that there's people that we're now in community with that it's so hard to picture our church without them. But to realize that all happened, they started coming this year. I mean, I think of Rick and Desiree Panlilio and how they have shared the Restoration Church story with so many in their lives, and they've seen the hope and transformation of this community move into their circles and around their neighborhood.
Yeah, and I mean, I think of Nicole and Trey Washburn and their sweet baby Cadence, who was just born this year, right? And how they've jumped into this community through such a turbulent year, and on top of that, becoming brand new parents. And I also think of Louie and Marley Stridham and their 3 kids who have jumped into Alpha this year. They've gotten involved and served and shared life with so many people in incredible ways. Plus, Marley has so beautifully helped capture through photography so many moments of the amazing story of Restoration Church.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, 2020 has not been the year that any of us would have pictured, but God has still been faithful, and we have seen lives changed as we have become a more restorative community for my neighbors and for your neighbors and for our city as a whole.
Yes, I mean, your generosity has been so beautiful throughout this crazy year, as we have been able to bring restoration in such tangible ways to San Diego and around the world. I mean, we've said this before, but Restoration is committed to giving away 10% of our operating budget to expand our vision outside the walls of just our church, right? So throughout this year, because of your faithful giving, we have been able to provide meals and supplies to our partners at Door of Hope. We've invested over $5,000 towards our global partnership with Preemptive Love Coalition to support those facing poverties in the aftermath of the violence going on in Turkey, and especially following the explosion that rocked Beirut.
Yeah, it was so amazing to be able to just respond in those moments because of your faithful giving. I mean, we also gave away our entire Easter offering this year, remember that? And it helped to relieve $1.3 million of medical debt here in San Diego County. I mean, that's unbelievable. And we've also been able to give financial benevolence and support to people here in our Restoration Church community to help with counseling services and rental assistance and food when necessary. And all of that is because you are such a beautifully generous church.
Yes, and in fact, you give us hope for the future of what God is doing here at Restoration Church. In fact, just this time last year, we actually launched our Hope and Future campaign, where we launched a 1-year generosity challenge that had 3 goals: to relaunch our church, to invest in the next generation, and to see tangible restoration here in our community. And because of living into that promise, we have just been reminded of the way that God said over and over through the scripture that hope does not disappoint.
Yeah, we came around this passage that you've probably heard of as we were thinking about this campaign, that in Jeremiah 29:11, God promises that he would give us a hope in the future. And if I'm honest, at first, I was a little bit like, it's a little cheesy. But as you explore the context of that passage, it's a promise given by God to people living in exile. And there was no way that we could know, but God knew how much that passage would resemble the life that we are experiencing this year in 2020. I mean, as a collective culture, we have never experienced more collective loss and grief and challenge and chaos in any year in my lifetime. Here in 2020, we have celebrated virtual baby showers together and grieved together during live stream funeral services. I mean, this has been such an incredible year, but we have hope because of who Jesus is.
Yeah, so we want to invite you to finish the year strong as we place our confidence not necessarily in our circumstances, but on hope. And hope does not disappoint. Let me say that again. Hope does not disappoint. So last year, we set out for a pretty audacious goal for Hope and Future to raise $150,000 above and beyond our regular giving. And the good news is that we have over $100,000 that has already been given or pledged. And now that is pretty amazing.
That is amazing. And you're probably good at math, or you can at least do that math. And that means we have just under $50,000 left to go to hit our goal. And that might sound like a big, crazy number, but here's the good news is that if we break it down, if everyone in our church gave $200, we would meet our goal. Now, $200 might even sound like a lot to you. For some of you, you're like, I can give way more than that. And for some of you, you have to give less than that. But here's what I want to encourage you to do, is that everyone in our church can give something. We desire to be a place where we are built on the sacrifices of many, not just the gifts and resources of a few. And so all of us can find a way to give something. Maybe $200 is a good benchmark for you. Maybe for some of you, you can give $2,000. But for some of you, you might just have to give $2. But I want all of us, we want all of us to be involved in this. And so you can go to restorationchurchsd.com/Hope Future to make a contribution or to get more information.
So we want to invite you this year end to be a part of Hope and Future and the future of Restoration Church through your generosity. Now, we hope that you will prayerfully consider how you can join us as we wrap up this Hope and Future campaign and as we see what God will do in and through us. No matter what amount you choose to give, whatever amount you're able to give, we simply hope that you will find a way to give something and to participate in this mission with us. We love you, Restoration Church, and we are actually praying for you as you go to God, as you trust Him with every area of life, not just your finances, but if you hear God prompt you, encouraging you to give, we hope that you would courageously follow. So we love you, church. We can't wait until we get to see you in person next. And so as we say always, we hope and pray that because of Jesus, you would experience restoration here in San Diego as it is in heaven. We'll see you soon, church.
See you soon.
Love ya.